For this Sesshin, this first Teisho is about one koan, or at least this one koan is some kind of frame. Inside and outside of the frame, this talk will be given. This koan is called Ordinary Mind is the Way. You find it in Mumonkan, number 19. This koan, Ordinary Mind is the Way, is one koan that personally I have found it quite, because on the surface it's, how can I say, I think it is a tricky koan, because it's promising, or it's kind of suggesting that your everyday mind is the way. And I don't know if I'm very much wrong if I say that this interpretation that whatever is going in your life, however you are acting, or whatever you do or are, is just the way. And since that's the case, you really don't have to care about it too much. It's all right already. I think at least if this is not the case with some practitioners, it is at least a little bit of a risk. Maybe I myself have thought once or twice that way. Not sure. But it's somehow like almost sounds too good to be true. Many other koans are more confusing, but this is just ordinary mind is the way. Is anyone seeing if I'm just believing it? So, is that so easy, this Zen practice? I will steal this wisdom and run away. So there is case as always, and case begins. Joshua asked Nansen, "What is the way?" Nansen answered, "Ordinary mind is the way." Joshua asked, "Shall I try to seek after it?" "If you try to seek after it, you go away from it," answered Nansen. This is the beginning. I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly when Joshua was living in China, but probably it's safe to say that he was born most likely somewhere 1800. And since it said that he lived 120 years old, maybe it was early 19 something or around that time. Joshua was going around in China. So Alexander the Great, if I'm a little bit right, perhaps lived like 1 century ahead or something like that. No, not at all. There was one person shaking head. Anyway, maybe the name was different or great general was wrong. But so sometimes like China so long ago and Europe so long ago, they are quite two different cultures. And of course in koans we meet monks with robes, and then in Europe when we read stories from that time, there are castles and lords and knights and whatnot. Of course in China also Taoism and teaching of Confucius, those were those two religions in China that were prominent, and they were proud of their own religions. And Buddhism was outsider, wasn't originated in China. But so if I try to imagine how this Josu looked like, what kind of robe he was wearing and what kind of temple was the temple of Nansen, they might have been quite fancy looking also, at least in China. And then he is coming to Nansen, who is teacher there, and asking what is the way. Asking the way is always a risk. It's exciting to go and ask what is the way, even in a, or like if you are asking how you get somewhere from place A to place B, for example, which bus I have to take and then which turn I have to take and so on. It's always exciting because can you really trust that person who will give those directions? Perhaps all have experienced the same thing, that happily you get the instructions and then you find out later that they were wrong. I have given instructions that were wrong to someone, some tourist who asked how to get there, and I very proudly, happily explained. And then after 5 minutes I realized that I was completely wrong and felt shamed, and I would like to run after this person, but I couldn't find it. So those things happens. Accidentally we give wrong directions. We follow wrong directions accidentally. If I ask how can I get to let's say Olympic station, and how you say it in English? Anyway, let's say to Tampere, and then Nansen will answer, ordinary mind is the way. That doesn't give very clear directions for that question. But it gives a hint that how can I look more answers. Just stay with your original mind and you will find Tampere sooner or later. But in this case, we understand that he's asking something very profound. Although it could be case also that he is asking how to do one's practice. What is the right way to do Zazen? How should I sit, or do what I should concentrate on? And those are important questions. And it's not a bad idea to ask them again and again. Basically, every time when we sit down and cross our legs, we ask, what is the way? Maybe we answered immediately, bang! It's this. But still, every time we will ask it. By just sitting down, it's an open question. Is this the way or not? Am I on the way or am I lying in the ditch next to the road? Sometimes I have been there, literally. But in this koan, it's also possible that the Teisho is really asking directly, what is the way? What is the truth? Not conceptual question, not intellectually. And why I say so is because this continues, this koan. Teisho, if I don't try for it, how can I know the way? Because, as you probably remember, Nansen had just said that if you try to seek after it, you go away from it. But if I don't seek, how can I know? The way is no matter of knowing or not knowing, said Nansen. Knowing is illusion, not knowing is blankness. If you attain to this way of no doubt, it is as boundless as vast space. So how can there be right or wrong in the way? Because it's as vast as space. How there can be right or wrong, even left or right? All 10 directions opening for 10 directions. It is boundless. So where is the truth? It's boundless. It's boundless. How can you put it in the box? How can you say it is there, it is, but not there? If you go 500 meters, take turn to the right and then look a little bit to the left, you will see it. That's how our everyday mind, our small everyday mind, so to say, works. We want to find precise place somewhere else than where we are. Could you take me there? I can pay. Could you take me there? I will pay good money. Many things in this world and this life work like such. If you have a right position, if you have a thick wallet, you can ask many things for your own sake to happen, and you will find out that people will fill your wishes, and your own fantasies will come true. But for this particular one, what is the way? Doesn't work like so. And we here, I'm pretty sure we all know that this doesn't work like ordinary things are working. But how does this work? If I try too much and too hard, as I will sometimes, to do this practice, it just takes me away from the practice. But at the same time, if I don't try at all, it is like this blankness. And that doesn't work either. Knowing is illusion. Because as it is, if you know something, then you close the case. You shut the door. Behind this door lives this knowledge. Knock the door if you want to know it. But knowing is also, or could be, there's two things. There is someone who is the knower, who knows, and then there is the subject that is known. Not knowing is blankness. In this case, if it's blankness, it is for sure it is referring to simply that I have tried to understand this thing intellectually, but I don't get it. So it doesn't give, this not knowing in this case doesn't bring any freedom. Sometimes not knowing is equivalent to freedom. But sometimes it is not. So which kind of not knowing it is depends. It's depending, the result is coming from that. There is in Japanese art, this is of course in China this thing happening, but since I have a little bit of experience of practicing some Japanese art forms, like this short thing, Yaido, and a little bit of shakuhachi and some paint calligraphy things, and I a little bit know that it is also like a, how can I say, spiritual practice, or what is the right word? That's why it's Do, way. It is the way of becoming one with the, let's say, sword, your sword. Because that's the kind of ultimate form of practice, that there is just this one doing. And this one doing is, we could call it also samadhi. Becoming one what you are doing with, for. We have of course heard this so many times, like becoming tired of hearing someone telling this, becoming one with your practice, or. But that's the way. That's the way to find the way. And we are given some Zen practice, Zen meditation practice when we are in Sesshin. We are given some work to do during work periods. We have rest periods, we can go out and we can walk. And all these different things during the day is possibility to do this Do. Walk the door, walk the way, do the become one, whatever it is. And traditionally, it is like we just concentrate. But how to concentrate? What is the right way to do to concentrate? Should I push hard, or should I? How it is best to do? I guess it's also personality question, and where you are in your life. How is your ordinary life, your ordinary mind? Sometimes there are some strong emotions or other psychological challenges, and perhaps just then it's not possible to push too hard. Sometimes we can push harder and it doesn't feel bad at all. We can enjoy that we can put a little bit more of hara there. But perhaps Nansen sees that Josu, what is Josu's state in his practice. And that's why he answers the way he does. He's just immediately revealing it. Cut! Everywhere. The sound is everywhere. It's not just on the right side of the room, or it's immediate. And it says, at these words Josu was suddenly enlightened. No doubts. Boom. It's just this boundless as vast space. Just this is boundless. We are there all the time, 24/7. We are riding the ox, still looking for the ox. That's the beauty of Zen Buddhist practice, that it is so direct. It really helps us to come again and again where we are. Reminding, using different methods, but always directing and asking, please, come here where you are. But we don't believe that it could be so simple. I don't know why. Oh, I know why. But to trust step by step, to trust more, that this can be simple thing. This could be simple thing to do. Same time, because we have our history, I hope I will find something to say in these Teishos of we have this wonderful picture, this wheel of life and death on the one room, in the one room. A lot of little details, and people living here, we've been staring it now and then. It's like a children book, exciting children book. Those symbols or the picture can say so many thousand words as it is said, and that picture definitely has so many details. So there is all the information made in a picture form that we need to know about this samsara, which we are familiar with anyway. But sometimes it might help us to kind of see some kind of explanation, and even better because now it's in a picture form. So at one glance we can see the whole picture. We can see, oh, that's how this vicious cycle works. Because I don't trust, because I have too many doubts about that the way is ordinary mind. I have too many doubts. That's why I am greedy, perhaps. Because I want something concrete, or I want some other things. And then I'm angry because things doesn't go the way I would love. And all these simple little things, of course, keeps the wheel turning. And because of that, if someone tells us that, it's ordinary mind, that is the way, that is the truth, then it doesn't help much, because all those troubles and painful feelings and many kind of confusions that we feel we are in is what we feel is our ordinary life or ordinary mind. How there can be any kind of calmness or balance there? That's why it is so hard to believe that that is the answer, that is the truth. And that's why, of course, we have to practice. It's a kind of a simple circle also here. I don't know what is it in English, this siedätyshoito, but I kind of like that idea a little bit. Partly this practice is really this siedätyshoito. Not entirely, but sometimes we really have to expose our body, our mind, body-mind, to this open space. And we start itching, we start itching, we start feeling nauseous, we start having doubts. Different kind of allergic reactions comes when we are exposed to this open, boundless space. And that's all because of this wheel of samsara, that we are so accustomed and we believe that that is the only thing there is. So if we expose ourselves portion by portion, little by little, breath by breath, and then we find ourselves having some allergic reactions, that's okay. We relax again. We know fundamentally all is right. it's wonderfully right. It's more right than we could ever believe. And then there are those moments when we can just be there, be here. Don't have to look back and forth or compare, or we know by being there, being this breath and body, we know that this is it. And then wheel takes us somewhere else. And at least in Rinzai tradition that also Josu belongs, they speak there more often about enlightenment experiences and so. And it's very often repeated and told us that you have some openings, and you have this opening and that opening. This many times you have had a enlightenment experience. Every time when we come to this place, which we could say is ordinary mind, in this very ordinary way, we can really see that this is an enlightenment experience. And every time we do come here, this makes this thing, if we call it the thing, we could call it the way, stronger. It becomes more clear. Next time is perhaps more easy to come out from bushes or ditches where we are, and we know, the way is really here. We are not so far from it. Then we have this koan also, as always, in Mumonkan, has the commentary and the verse. Questioned by Josu, Nansen like melting ice and disintegrating tile, dissolved and could not offer a plausible explanation. Even though Josu has come to a realization, he must delve into it for another 30 years before he can understand it fully. I haven't even practiced 30 years yet, and this is another 30 years. I haven't been 30 years in this Sangha. I'm looking forward to it. But even these few years that I've been doing this, it is obvious that that's the way. That's the way. And then another 30 years after that. And I don't know about you, but I think this practice has become easier and easier longer I have been doing this. Many doors, many kind of sometimes when people are kind of criticizing or commenting that why we have this form, this Zen Buddhist frame or form, why we do all these religious details. Those also are, in my opinion, those also are kind of, I don't say hidden, but they are, let's say, they are hidden pearls, they are hidden wisdom there, hidden. So more we do this, some subtle little things here and there can open up in a new way. Of course, this is not very good scientific proof, because I'm the one who is using this thing. Of course, it will affect me when I repeat it. But the practice is not, of course, not just sitting and having some experiences being here and now. Because when we are here and now, this whole place, boundless place, becomes our living room. And in this living room, there is so many things going on. Different kind of needs, different kind of duties we can do and go around and help and enjoy. So, and to surrender this form that we here in Sanneji, for example, are following. That's the practice, of course, itself, to surrender for chanting, to surrender for different kind of little procedures that we do. It is exactly than your practices. And it frees us. Every time when we just let go while we are chanting, for example, it's a little bit of awakening there. It's just ordinary mind working. This Nansen, like melting ice and disintegrating tile, dissolved and could not offer a plausible explanation to Chosu. What does that mean? I had this image, or not only image, but it felt like I little bit know what it could be. This melting ice and disintegrating tile is crumbling down, and it's just crumbles of tile. I think when I was, 1,000 years ago, when I was suddenly deep in love, that was one of those experiences on that field, and it is a little bit like that. Whatever you are listening from radio, it's just love song telling about you, or singing exactly how you feel. Everywhere you see light, and it's life is so full of it's just so positive. How didn't I recognize this before? And here Nansen is like a melting ice. Kind of can't keep it together. Perhaps he's so happy, a little bit like in love. not in a romantic sense, I think, but some other, maybe this kind of dharma like love. Seeing someone like Josu coming and asking sincerely. And then Nansen just, what can he do? He just loses it. But unlike these romantic falling in love things, this is something more lasting. This is something much more profound. Those romantic things, they belongs to this wheel of samsara. And in my case, in this particular one that I now was referring to, it didn't take long when everything went grey, and from the radio I heard just sad songs about lost loves. Suddenly, I don't know, all songs had changed. Just short before it was only love songs there. So that's how it's very interesting how we select things according to what is our state of mind. It's like putting those glasses, colored glasses, and seeing through. Yes, I see we have come this far, and we can continue this, maybe even this koan verse tomorrow, and then something else after that. But thank you for listening, and may all beings attain the Buddha way.